Hi friends, it's Fluffy Toad. This isn't the type of video I normally make. I usually have commentary over gameplay explaining ideas and what I'm doing. This time around, I wanted to quickly talk about my TGP experience and how my team died due to mismatched expectations. This video is kind of like a cautionary tale. You should get to know your players ahead of time and be extremely explicit about your expectations. Before I started playing with my team, I had made a long post as a checklist to make sure everyone was as prepared as possible. Gear, talents, macros, consumes, and enchants, the usual things. As a final note to cap off the post, I had mentioned that it's important that we have a high mental as we push the higher keys, and we should be prioritizing ourselves on not tilting and tiring too early. I wanted a group that was willing to take on the challenge of doing higher keys over the course of the time trials. I would like to think that this implies that we are not pushing for top 12 in TGP. Maybe my wording in the post was not explicit enough. I figured since we were already not top key pushers, and this is our first time playing together, there would be an implicit understanding that we are not pushing for cup placement. When TGP started, we had a little bit of a late start. Everyone has a life. It is what it is. The previous day, one of our members had said they wouldn't be able to play for very long since I had an early morning meeting. They had also given us a warning an hour into our practice time, which I was super appreciative of, and as a result, I started planning for the next day. Some of our members were a little disappointed by the fact that we couldn't play for very long and how our schedules weren't being properly managed. As a result, to rectify this, I figured we could make a spreadsheet and put in the times that we were available. An hour after we had stopped for the day, I got messages that a member was extremely frustrated and had made the member who left early the target of his frustration. Since everything had been streamed, I'm gonna go over the comments and respond to them.
If anything, if I really want to shoot for first next MDI, I'm going to have to start my own team and do all the research myself and do routes and everything.
This comment really seems like they don't understand the amount of time that I put into looking at routes, reviewing team dynamics, and learning callouts. It's really not something that you could just do on a whim. There's more nuance besides just copying what the top teams are doing if you're really trying to push for first.
And I'm going to say, hey, we're going to have to do this for 6 to 8 hours a day.
6 to 8 hours for TGP or MDI makes no sense. This is a low elo take. Let's look at Ruby Life pools as an example. You get 30 minutes to time the key, 24 minutes to 2 chest, and 18 minutes to 3 chest. Our keystone levels started at 8, so realistically, with a good group, you should be 3 chesting the 8, the 11, and the 14. At worst, you'll be 1 chesting the 17 all the way to 20. This is a total of 2.5 hours roughly, assuming that you have no breaks and no mistakes. This is probably the floor for the best groups. If it takes you 40 hours to do something that should take 2.5, there's something very wrong.
I want to see if I can, for the next one, apply to be on an esports team because I'll go for 8 to 12-hour days, just keys.
Something that people trying to get into esports or are participating in tournaments misunderstand is time. You can't magically become good in a short period of time without all of the experience backing you up. The 8 hours you spent in practice or time trials literally does not matter. You don't become good just because you have the opportunity to play all day. I'm sure everyone can think of an example or has a friend who fits this description. They play all day, but they still suck at the game.
We would have been showing as like top 30 actually because like they've done a 12 Ruby Life pools.
What he's talking about here is that we would have had the points to be top 30 if we had done the Brackenhide. This is another misunderstanding from someone who's inexperienced. Day 1 does not matter. For proof, day 1 of MDI for season 3, my team was number 6. In the end, we did not get into the cup. The only thing that matters is where you are on that final day, the minute before time trials ends.
I feel now seeing this and seeing what the real hiccup is for it. If you have a job, you have to take the 5 days off to make it to the top 12.
I don't know where this idea that you have to play all 5 days for the same 2 dungeons came from. If you know you're going to be in the top 12, you know you are. Why would you bother spending time on 2 dungeons instead of learning the 3 chest route for the other 6? If you're going to be spending 5 days of time, I'd imagine that maybe the first 2 days are going to be spent on time trial dungeons, and then the other 3 are going to be learning the fastest way to push towards the high keys. The hangup in every TGP is when players fall behind in keystone levels. They're not worried about doing the high keys, they're worried about getting to the high keys.
Like, here's the mother got off at was only able to do 3 hours. Why would you go into something only giving it 3 hours? Like, I don't know. I mean, imagine doing softball tournaments and only giving it 3 hours. I don't know. Moving on. Not trying to be a dick.
You are being a dick. 3 hours is more than enough time to push keys. As I've stated previously, a good team only needs 2.5 hours to get to the high keys. We're not a good team. We all know it. It seems the only person who does not realize this is you. The analogy with softball is weird. I've never played softball, I did track, so I'd imagine the experience is similar. You train with the people around you for several weeks, then you do a 1 day meet, and you repeat this. This is not comparable. We get 5 days and several chances. You can redo keys, you can try again, you can go for longer, you can go for shorter. It's a bad analogy.
I feel like it's just like I'm gonna vent for a little bit. I'm sacrificing other things I could be doing or playing, and everything in that regard to do well in this.
Thank you for your sacrifice. When little Timmy was being called in to do the TGP, you fearlessly stepped in so he would be able to play other games, and you prevented his house from being foreclosed. '07's in chat.
Well, we have good team chemistry. We were doing good. We were pushing those keys. We just need more in the grain moving.
What do you mean more in the grain movement? For the most part, I taught everyone the route, and they picked it up fairly quickly. We were all vocal and listening to callouts. I was willing to let things slide, but I did say before we even started doing the TGP that I had VODs and other means of helping people figure out how to do dungeons. During our Brackenhide run, you were unfamiliar with the super common tech of MDing the cages. If you wanted to help with in the grain movement, you could have done some dungeon prep. You knew you were going to be playing Priest. I'm super grateful that you were willing to re-roll and learn, but did you not even bother watching any Priest gameplay?
Again, I don't mean any offense to mom, like I'm not sure where mom's at, but I'm just saying it feels like mom is just cool with just doing a banner.
Why would you call your teammate a banner player? It's such a big insult. Do you really think that they're not being active and participating with the rest of the team? What gave you this impression? Was it just because she had to leave for work? I'll tell you what I think. They're not a banner player. They were actively trying to help out the team. They were providing the teleport stone and giving suggestions on when to use it. And they were saying that they would pick up the ads that we were consistently missing during our RLP runs. None of that screams banner player to me.
And then today, you were running late. That's totally fine. But it was the first day. I was hyped, and all we were able to do was push one dungeon for 2 hours. So I'm like, I'm a little diminished. My morale is officially low now. I'm like, cool, like I'm gonna participate, but I'm like, I don't know, I'm gonna just be happy with top 100, top 200 at this point, because we're not going all in.
How can you call someone else a banner player and at the same time say that your morale is low on day one? That's actual banner player mentality. Throwing the towel at the first sight of any problem? That's fucking ridiculous.
Next MDI, I want next MDI. I'm gonna do all my research, make sure I know what's meta, what's not, and I'm gonna be on a team in general. Everybody respected. Be on a team in general that is, even if we don't place top 12, we got fucking close because we put all in 8 to 10 hours because we were trying and going hard. Because there's baseball teams that just collecting a paycheck. There's also people that work that are just collecting a paycheck. It's like trying to build that resume,
This was literally a last minute team, and you were literally a last minute pickup. If I were in your shoes, I would have been so happy with just getting into a team. How can someone be lucky enough to get invited to a team and then spit on them as if they were the problem?
Yeah, and Bubble, you've known mom a lot longer. If you could ask what mom's expectation was, she just trying to get a banner? You know, I would like to know because, like, if I'm just doing this for banner, I'm gonna, cause yeah, she left. She had to go walk her dog. She had to go walk her dog. Take care of the doggo. I get taking care of the doggo. Had to take care of the dog and go to sleep. She's got to be up at like 5 or something. From what I can tell, so my morale is low. I'm just gonna. We're just in my perspective right now. I feel like we're just a banner team, and it just turned into that. But it's whatever. At least we'll get the banner, you know.
Once again, calling someone else a banner player while exhibiting banner player behavior. Also, how do we even develop the notion that we're a banner team? What was the main issue? Was it because of scheduling? Because we fixed that. Was it because we called it a day early or did not set a time the day before? Because once again, we fixed that issue. Find me a singular issue that had signs pointing at banner team. If I can't find them, I know you can't. All in all, that was my quick rant. I really don't like when players badmouth their own teammates. That's just bad manners. I don't know how anybody can even have such a notion in their head. It's actually ridiculous. It's insane to think like the people that you're playing with actively just hate you or think that what you're doing is wrong without actively telling you how you can fix yourself or provide any feedback or look at the team leader and say, "Hey, something's an issue. Can you please sort this out?" All right, that's my spiel. See ya.